So before I start cutting anything, given that I haven't got a drive or anything to do the van in, so what I've done is I've done a map basically of the grid, the wooden batten grid to lay all the insulation out, and I've just made a quick note of obviously there we go, in inches, you know, across and down for each one, because they are slightly different obviously to follow the contours of the van. So nothing really major there, but it's just a handy tip if you just have to go and cut them all. I'm just going to do them all in advance, cut them up right on the back with a Sharpie, the corresponding number, and then good to go. Take them all out, fit them one by one, trim them down. So here's a good example. I've got a couple here that I can sort of show you. So here on the edge, right, so there's the sound deadening mat. Now as you can see here, I've got ribs evenly spaced, nice evenly spaced, and then I've got a gap there. Now it doesn't look a lot, but that gap is actually about 3 inches or so. And obviously when you put the insulation in and you lay the insulation down, it would always dip at that side, and I had the same problem here. So I've just put some small shims that I've measured. That's actually a piece of cladding, I think, what's that, maybe 4 mil, 3, well maybe 5 mil actually in places, cladding pieces that I've just put in, and I've just glued those into place, and that now provides a very solid, that provides a really nice solid base that's not going anywhere, nice and firm. And I've done the same, not in all of them. I think I've had to do maybe about 5 out of the 15 or 16 panels that I've got in. As I said before, this is these battens are 25 mil, so an inch, and the insulation is also 25 mil, and I'm going to tape those down with the aluminium tape, and then cover the whole thing over with the Reflectix as the moisture barrier, and then ready for the floor. As you can see at the front here, just take this back a bit, I've sort of built ready for a new kind of floor level nicely along where the step level is. And then I'll do some work around here when I've got the floor in, see what that looks like, and then I'll either fill it or do something else, build actually a slightly raise the step up there. So there we are. So another milestone now to get that covered with a moisture barrier, ready for the floor. Okay, so now we've got all of the insulation on the floor, battens are down, insulation down, and it was quite a job in places, to be honest, because as I mentioned before, the ribs of the van are not uniform at all, either lengthways or across the van. So I had to put in some shims underneath some of the insulation pieces. So that took a bit of time, but it's in. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to foil over the battens and any joins, and then measure up ready for the ply lining floor. Now I'm going to put the original floor back in and just lay that in and see how that lines up. So as you can see now, I've got all of the seams, all of the sides of the insulation board, and the supporting wood battens now are all sealed with foil tape, creating a nice watertight and air seal all the way around. And you'll see I've marked with tape all the way up here and here and up here and up at the top there with tape exactly where the battens are, because obviously once I get the next layer of Reflectix down, we're not going to be able to see the battens, so mark those all out. So now it's onwards and put the last final layer of Reflectix on the floor, and then the main plywood floor can go back in. There we go, the new floor is in, insulation is all laid and all topped off with a layer of Reflectix. So that's all the sides done, back doors, and now time to put the plyboard back in. So here we are. The van floor is plywood is back in. This is the old floor. As you can see, there's a few scrapes on it, but that's okay. The spots you can see, I'm just zooming over to there. The spots that you can see along are where the old screw holes used to be, and I've wood filled those. And you can see there's nice new screws have gone in to all areas along the board. So I had to trim a couple of bits, nothing too major. A couple of bits I need to finish off at the back door, the back step. I just need to put some supporting wood under there, just a small, some more 25mm by 38mm across that back piece to make that basically there'll be a double width of wood there, the same as I've got on the new step that I've built here. Along there there's also 2 lots of wood in there and back to provide a nice sturdy step. What I did do as well, you might notice the colour is slightly different from that of standard plywood, and the reason for that is that when I'd finished doing the putting in all the wood filler, I actually polyurethaned both sides for added protection against any water or moisture ingress. So there we go, so that's all in, and now it's time to look at the flooring. Put the flooring. I've got some lino, and I've also got some Novacore vinyl, which is a hard vinyl, which is a click. I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do, and I may put in both. The click vinyl is 4mm and the lino is very thin, it's about 1mm, so it may be that I end up doing the lino actually as a kind of almost like an underlay, if you like. I'm not fussed about losing an extra millimetre or 2 on top of what I've already done here. The plywood board that's down, just for interest, is 9mm, and to be quite honest, that's fine for the load that I'm going to be putting on this. It was in really good condition other than a few scrapes. It wasn't bowed, I'd stored it well, and it went back in pretty well, and I've got enough battens underneath there for screwing furniture to, so having like 12mm like some people do, not an issue for me to screw the furniture into. And it provides a really good, a really good solid floor. So that's it, job done. Okay, so now the subfloor has been laid. I'm now going to put a base line of lino in, which is sat right there, which is kind of just standard wood effect lino. It's not really thick, this lino is only about 1.25mm, very little backing on it, so it is quite thin. So what I'm going to do, I've gone around the edges, around everywhere with double-sided carpet tape, which is I bought a decent one just to get a bit of stickiness in there. Some people, especially on thin lino, will put in we'll spray some of the kind of trim fix adhesive. I'm not doing that because I'm not really that sure what I want to do with the floor. I'm going to put this lino down, see what it looks like, and it may be that I put on top of that, I use that as the underlay and actually put some click waterproof click vinyl flooring on top of that. So that's why I'm not too fussed about it being thin, and I'm definitely not too fussed about having it fixed down in the middle. I'm just going to go around the edges, work from the middle out, and then see what that looks like. And as I say, it may be that I use that just as the underlay for a thicker click floor, but we'll see when we've got it in. So we have work in progress. So I've taken the 2 by 3 meter piece of lino. Basically what I've done is nothing scientifically, to be honest. I've just gone around, cut the massive pieces off which made it sort of unwieldy in the van to work with, and then I've just literally gone round the edges outlining, cut in, just giving myself a little bit of an inch or two all the way around, a little bit more up at the top just in case of any issues. Likewise down the side, so that's where we are. Work in progress, probably taking me about I don't know, maybe an hour to get to that point. So there we go then. That's the flooring in. I'm just got a few bits of edging to do. I'm going to go around with silicone around the edges just to make sure it continues the barrier. But yeah, so effectively it's in.